Good morning, everyone. Let us all welcome our facilitator for today, Ms. Suzanne Llanera.
Hello, good morning po. Andito na naman po ako. I'd like to thank you and welcome you now and like to thank you that you joining my lecture for today. Thank you po sa lahat ng DepEd NCR dito sa Zoom as well as dun sa Facebook. Maraming po salamat. Nakikita ko nga yung mga chat dito na nakalagay na at last nakapasok ako. Maraming po salamat. Ngayon po, I'm going to talk about engagement. How to make your content and your presentation engaging. As I've said, engaging is paano maging engganyo, paano ma-engganyo. Okay, so I'll start now with I'll share my slides. Wait lang. There. Okay, sana nakikita niyo yung slides ko. Okay, my topic is engaging online learning activities. Sige, so what are we discussing? We're discussing, I'm just trying to use this. We're discussing, okay. Kilala pala muna ako. Okay, my name is Suzanne Llanera. For those who don't know me kasi wala sila nung Saturday, ako po si Suzanne Llanera. I've been in the corporate world for 30 years now. My background is in advertising. Gumagawa po kami ng advertisement. Pero hindi po ako creative. Ako po ay nasa business side, sa client servicing. Ako po ay nagsasabi sa mga kliyente na gumastos pa kayo. Okay? And also, that's 30 years. And then, during my advertising years, nag-start na ako magturo. My first teaching job is here at Thames because Thames International started as international school. So may local degree at may foreign degree. I started my teaching career in the foreign degree kasi Thames was looking for a practitioner. I don't have educational units but I have MBA at nagtatrabaho ko sa advertising. So, ang kailangan kasi advertising person kasi you're gonna teach advertising. So, yun ang first job ko. And until now, hindi pa ako umalis sa Thames. So, I've been teaching college kids for 20 years, college, and then recently 11th and 12th grades sa high school. And also, currently, I also am the head of an animal welfare group. It's a British-funded animal welfare group called IWCT, International Wildlife Coalition Trust. Our center is in Tarlac. We do rescue dogs from slaughter. We also do free kapons, spay and neuter. Each barangay nationwide, free yun ha. And then we also do yung anti-galis and also education. So this is me in a nutshell. So let's start. This is what I'm going to talk about. Our learning goals for today. We're going to talk about asynchronous and synchronous. Siguro sawang-sawa na kayo dito, pero I have to talk about this. Mabilis lang para lang ilatag, okay? I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of asynchronous and synchronous. Mabilis lang. And then I'm going to talk about the helpful tips teachers should remember when we go blended learning. Remember, we're doing blended learning, not online learning. Blended learning kasi may asynchronous tayo at may synchronous. So you blend that. That's blended learning. And then we're going to talk about the roles of a teacher in a blended learning classroom. Next, we're also going to talk about how to be an engaging communicator, engaging, okay? I'm going to teach you how to do that and also how to create content and activities that are engaging. I'm going to show you also other examples. I showed you last time some examples nung Sabado, nung nagkwentuhan tayo. Pero I'm going to talk more about it and I'm going to give you some examples. And the last would be helpful tips on online teaching. Okay, so let's start. Ayusin ko lang yung kasi nalilito lang ako sa camera dito. Okay, advantage of asynchronous. Umpisa tayo sa asynchronous. Remember, asynchronous is self-paced. Kaya nga naka-A na naman to kasi pag hindi ko naka-highlight, nalilito ako. So asynchronous is self-paced. So what are the advantages of asynchronous? Number one, it offers students complete control over their learning. So students can take the time they each need to grasp and master concepts and skills because they don't have the time they don't have to try to keep up with real class time delivery. Next would be respectful to one's own learning pace. This gives students time to reflect on what they're learning before answering questions or joining online discussions. Not only students absorb the online discussion materials in the same way. Hindi sila pare-pareho. Yung mga students natin, they cannot absorb it the same way. So some have poor learning skills or medyo mas slow. So with this asynchronous, we can offer them the ability to take their time to complete responses, to do critical thinking. So it's very flexible. Next, it's convenient. Hindi ka na pwede okay ka lang maski nakapambahay ka lang or hindi ka na magta-travel. So it's very convenient. Also, because it's your own time. There, interactive regardless of location and time barriers. So, nasa sa'yo yun, if you want to take it bago ka matulog, habang kumakain ka, nanonood ka, or sometimes sa banyo, di ba? It's up to you, when, where, how. Now we're going to disadvantage of asynchronous. Number one, absence of instant feedback. So, kunyari, if the student wants to ask a question right away, gusto niya answer right away, hindi siya makakuha na. Nag-aaral siya 12 midnight ay, syempre wala na yung teacher, di ba? Hindi na. So yon, absence of instant feedback. Next, personal interaction is eliminated. There's no personal connection. There's no human connection. Like me now, because we're doing synchronous, pero pag libro lang or wala naman personal interaction. So it's like studying mechanically. Then you lessen, ayan pala, and then you lessen motivation. So, kung wala ka naintindihan, mahirap yung concepts, ganyan. So, minsan, nawawalan ka na ng gana. Di ba? Kasi, hindi mo na nga maintindihan. So, sino tatangin mo? Wala. So, yon. Also, that's why it requires self-discipline. So, these are the advantages and disadvantages of self-paced. Now we go to advantages of synchronous. Synchronous is live. So there, learning environment can be highly social. It allows personal interaction, sharing of ideas. Next, it allows quick answers to questions. Kasi may tao. So pag nagtanong, agad-agad, you can talk, you can answer. Next, familiar to both students and teachers. Why? Because this is like a traditional classroom. Di ba sa traditional classroom, yung teacher daldal ng daldal, lecture ng lecture. So this is like a traditional classroom. Kaso lang, may online, may internet. And last would be, it's good for classes that relies on Socratic delivery content. Ano ba yung Socratic? Socratic meaning yung may deep discussion. Okay? Kunyari maraming questions, you want to promote critical thinking, use of analytical thinking. This is usually used sa mga lawyers. Kasi last week, nag-seminar din kami sa mga law professors. And most of them, they use Socratic delivery. So, sinabi namin na for synchronous, bagay ito. How about the disadvantages? Number one is reliant on technology. Sometimes our mic cannot work. Sometimes our camera is sira. So, minsan, low bandwidth. Di ba? Minsan, like ako, so kung low bandwidth, sasara ko yung video ko. Okay, some students do not have the technology required for easy interaction. Next would be student access. Sometimes students doesn't have access to internet. This is a big challenge, especially for public schools or public institutions na walang regular internet. Next is, challenges for students with poor social skills. For synchronous learning, it demands social active participation and collaboration. Pero some students are not that social. Some of them are shy. Okay? And lastly, instructor challenges. Many of us find difficulty in doing live sessions, especially here, online. Not only presenting information online, but of course, navigating the technology. Okay? Ganyan din ako nag-start. Nahirapan din ako. Okay, so I've discussed the advantages and disadvantages of synchronous and asynchronous. Next, I'll give you helpful tips that teachers should remember about blended learning. Okay, always remember in technology is very important when it comes to online learning. So when teachers use good technology effectively, it provides them the power to become greater experts in their subjects. So in blended learning classroom, ito nakalagay ang slide ko, the teacher is technology is a given when teaching students the facts and the concepts. Kasi in blended learning, technology is given. But the deep learning, the true understanding of the concept comes from the teacher. Again, how? The deep learning, responsibility mo yon sa contents mo, sa way you deliver. So the deep learning, the true understanding of concepts para sa estudyante comes from us, the teacher. Okay? So, these are the helpful tips that teachers should remember about blended learning. Blended meaning mix of synchronous and asynchronous. Number one, they should be willing to learn. Willing to learn the technology. Willing to learn her new role. Willing to learn how to be creative. Willing to learn how to analyze data. Kailangan willing to learn. Marami tayo kailangan i-learn. Kasi ibang platform to eh. Hindi tayo sanay dito eh. Ako, when I started last year, di ba sabi ko, overwhelmed ako. Ang dami-dami kong pinag-aralan. Hanggang ngayon, nag-aaral pa ako. So you have to be willing to learn. It's a challenge maybe it's a challenge for us, ako, sa mga matatanda na, kasi minsan natatakot tayo sa technology. Ako nga, to be honest ha guys, to be honest, hindi ako marunong mag-gadget, mag-Viber. Yung team ko sa Thames, yung mga boss ko, tingnan mo yung Viber, hindi ako marunong mag-Viber, alam ko lang laptop. So sabi ko, pag nag-Viber, pag may message sila sa Viber, sabi ko, pakilagay na lang sa email. So you see, though I'm teaching here, meron pa rin akong hindi alam. I don't use gadget. Hindi ko alam paano mag-Google sa gadget. Alam ko lang sa laptop. So yung telephone ko, I use it lang for taking pictures, for text. Kasi sanay pa ako sa dipindot. So ngayon, pag smartphone, wala nang dipindot, edi ganun-ganun lang ako, ganun-ganun. Pero pag mga Viber, yung mga application, wala akong alam. I'm just in the laptop. But you see, even though limited ang aking alam sa technology, umaandar pa rin tayo, nakakaturo pa ako. Okay? Next would be open to new teaching strategies. Okay? Si blended learning na nga ito, we have to be open to all strategies. Okay? We have a blended learning teacher should have wide content in order to teach the subjects. So we need that we do instruct based on student needs. We need to focus on academic needs and enrichment. Next would be leaders. Be a leader. What is a leader? A leader is someone who motivates, okay? So you help guide the students in blended learning. So you show the students how to find information, how to ask, or even the answers. You have to teach them. You have to have strategies in place so students can be engaged and motivated. Okay, teachers must know how to interpret and analyze information, integrate information, and demonstrate all the knowledge through application. That's of course motivation. So these are helpful tips that teachers should remember about blended learning. Inom lang po ako. 2 seconds. Okay. Okay na ako. Next, what are the roles of teachers in blended learning? So, the role of a teacher in blended learning, the role there. Blended learning shifts the role of a teacher from knowledge provider to coach and mentor. Diba? Knowledge provider, from knowledge provider to coach and mentor. Dati, tayo, knowledge provider. Pero now, we step back a little to be coach and mentor. Okay? Now, this does not mean na ang role ng teacher passive na or less important in education. On the contrary, teachers can even have a profound influence and effect on the teacher's learning. In traditional model, the teacher is the provider of knowledge, di ba? As I've said, provider of knowledge in the traditional sa pag nagtuturo tayo sa classroom. In blended learning, the student is positioned as the active pursuer of knowledge. Dapat driven siya. Kasi siya yung mag-aandar. Wala naman tayo doon palagi. Okay? Dapat siya yung nag-pursue ng knowledge. So, ano tayo doon? Nandun lang tayo sa coach tayo. So, hindi tayo lecture ng lecture. Actually, guys, this is a paradigm shift. Dati, when I started, naku, talagang ang nag-train pa nga sa akin, one of nag-trainers sa akin, si Sir Noni, di ba nakilala niyo Sir Noni, speaker siya. So sabi niya, babe, Suzanne, babes pangalan ko, Suzanne, dapat change, hindi lang lecture, facilitator na tayo. So yon, which I realized now, which is true. Okay, so there. So we start. So remember this, in the traditional model, the teacher is the provider of knowledge. And in blended learning, like what we have now, the student is positioned as the active pursuer of knowledge. Now, what are the roles of a teacher in blended learning? As I've said, siya ay isang facilitator. Okay, in blended learning method, the role of the teacher changes from being the person of wisdom, siya lahat may alam, to a guide on the side. Diba? So kumbaga noon, bida ka, ikaw yung pinakamatalino, daldal ka lang ng daldal. Okay, lecture. Ngayon, hindi. Doon ka lang sa side kasi ikaw ang coach and mentor. So facilitator ka. Parang kung nag-a-attend kayo ng seminar, di ba after the seminar ng lecture, may workshop, tapos papagawa kayo ng activity. Tapos yung lecturer nandun lang, tumitingin lang, pero kayong gumagawa, tapos kayo mag-present. Ganun. Next, sabi ko sa'yo, coach and tutor. A teacher needs to encourage them, and celebrate their success. So, there are times na pwede mong i-one-on-one. Usually kasi, like sa Thames, ang style namin ni Sir Noni is gagawa ka ng ganyan, lecture muna as a asynchronous. So, nandyan yan sa LMS. Tapos at the end, if you have any questions or if you want to consult me, I'm here in the Zoom. So, yun. So, kung may questions sila, pupunta sila, andun ako. Pero the time, let's say, ang time ko is from 1 to 3. 1 to 3, nandun ako. Pero depende lang kung kailan sila papasok para to ask questions. Kasi ginawa mo na yung content. Dapat yung content mo maganda, right? Powerful as well. Next, classroom planners. The blended classroom requires a teacher to do planning of the curriculum and instruction in advance. The curriculum design must feature built-in resources, okay, for accommodating different strategies. Next, we go to content experts. Ayan. A blended setting requires math teachers to master the art of content creation and content utilization. Sabi ko sa inyo last Saturday nung nagkita tayo, content creator tayo or content curator. Okay? Now, nakasabi ko master, pero it takes time naman di ba? As I've said, the expert is a beginner once. Okay? So dapat little by little, pero at the end, gamay na natin, alam na natin. So it's not only it is imperative for teachers to transform the learning materials to quicker, concise, engaging content, but dapat alam din niya paano i-deliver. What format? Will it be audio? Will it be podcast? Will it be slides? Will it be whatever? So, yon, content experts. Next, we go to conducting extension of learning. Okay? The role of a teacher in here, conducting extension of learning, is to teach students to understand their own learning and evaluate their own confusion. Diba? Kasi siya nga yung pursuer of knowledge. So dapat nandun tayo para i-teach them na understand yung learning na yon at saka paano umalis sila sa confusion. Okay? Ultimately, it is often the teacher who helps identify the challenges and the success para they would reach their goals. Next would be the role of a teacher is risk seekers. They should be willing to experiment. Hindi sila takot. Okay, may time na mag-explore risk-taking ka. Okay, you have to explore risk-taking. It allows teacher to experiment with different instruction, techniques, content strategies, as well as assessments. Ang dami-daming instructional techniques. You just have to be creative. I'll show you later, ang dami. Okay, minsan ginagawa ko to live sa traditional, but you can adopt this as well in blended learning. Dalawa na lang. Role would be evaluator. Teachers should be able to assess and provide additional or actionable feedback, okay, sa student. And as I've said, feedback should be always positive. Kasi nga, mag-isa na sila, kailangan maganahan sila. So positive lahat, very constructive, okay? And lastly, as I've said last week, technician din tayo. Bakit? Ikaw magmamano-mano ng LMS mo, ikaw ang mag-e-edit, ikaw ang gagawa ng PowerPoint mo. So, technician tayo. Okay? Kayang-kaya natin yan. Lalo na yung mga batang teacher, kayang-kaya to. Okay, so we have different roles there. We have facilitator, evaluator, risk takers, content creators, coach, tutor, conducting extension of learning, classroom planners, technician. Dami, di ba? Challenging yan. Okay. Next, we go to how to be an engaging communicator. Ano ba yung engaging? Engganyo. Yung may charisma. Okay, kung hindi, tutulugan kayo ng estudyante nyo. Okay, so there are ways ways to be more engaging in your interactions. You have, kasi, di ba, remember, natandaan nyo ba pag meron kayong nakitang tao na maske, alam mo yun, kasi very charismatic siya, very magnetic siya, alam mo yun, maske, hindi naman masyadong gwapo, hindi masyadong maganda, pero lumalabas yung personality niya, di ba? Kasi very charismatic. So, pag nakatapat ka sa isang very charismatic na tao, feeling mo hindi ka takot, very at ease ka, wala kang defenses, di ba? It makes you feel good, important. Also, feeling mo interesado siya sa'yo kasi, interesado siya sa stories mo, whatever, yung lahat ng sinasabi mo, versus, okay, pumunta tayo sa kabila. Nakita mo kung nakakita ka ng tao na ang ganda-ganda naman, saksa ka ng gwapo, pero dull, boring, di ba? Pag magturo, walang ka lutay-lutay, di ba? Nakakaantok. Or sometimes, pa-terror effect na hindi naman charismatic. So sometimes you feel, ay, ang bobo-bobo ko na ba? Or sometimes, naantok ka na or disinterested. Or sometimes, pagtapos ng lecture, ay, drained na ako. Okay? So, you just walk away. Hindi mo na continue yun. So, how do you ensure your communication? It has to be, how are you sure that your communication will have impact to others? Okay, how will you create that magnetic, engaging effect para mag-interaction? Okay? So, yun. So, getting others to be drawn into and engage with you is important if you want to get your message across. Okay, ulitin ko ha. Getting others to be drawn to you, okay, and engage with you is important, very important to get your message across sa kabila. Inom lang ako. 1 second. Okay, let's start. Okay, number 1, exude silent confidence. Ano ba yung silent confidence? Ano ba yung confidence? Confidence is self-assured ka, okay, confident ka. Silent confidence is hindi ka mayabang. Okay, alam niyo ba ang difference sa mayabang at mahangin? Okay, ang mayabang may arrogance. Ang mahangin puro hangin lang. Di ba? Parang cotton candy, puro hangin lang. So madali lang mag-interact sa mahangin. Hawak ka lang sa desk, okay? Or, sakyan mo lang siya, okay? Yan ang ligaya niya eh. Di, sakyan mo lang. Pero pag mayabang, minsan, di ba, nakakainis. So, exude silent confidence. You have to be very self-assured. You know your stuff, okay? You want people to say that you know your stuff, but you care for them as well. So it's like the combination of confidence and benevolence. I'll tell you a story. In my business comm class, kasi I'm teaching business comm sa college, meron akong estudyante, 30 sila, no? 30. Meron akong estudyante nagsa-stutter. Alam mo yung nagsa-stutter? I think yung utal-utal. So, ano siya, pero tahimik siya, pero matalino A student. Pero kung magsalita, ganon. So, but of course, I told you, sa Saturday, ang first rule ko during the first day, sabi ko sa kanila, my rule is you have to give respect to everyone, to me as well as the others. So no judgments. Meaning, ayoko nakikita may nagre-recite or nag-oral ng individual, ayoko siya makikita na tatawa sila dyan or mag-isa habang nagre-recite yung isa. We have to give respect. So this student of mine is very matalino. And half of my course is, syempre, bago mag-midterms, is lecture, concepts, at the end, application. And ano yung application for business ko? That would mean oral presentation. Diba? Every week, sila na magsasalita. Sabi ko, after midterms, it's your show, not mine. I just stay at the back. Okay, why? I want to emphasize presentation because in the real world, hindi ka naman palagi gagawa ng report. In the real world, mag-present ka. Regardless kung ikaw ay nasa facility, nandun ka sa accounting, etc. Pag-accounting, sasabi ng estudyante ko, Miss Accounting naman, mas na, di ba? Mag-present ka ng budget mo sa boss mo, etc. So, yun. Kaya pinapractice ko sila maging confident, pinapractice sila para mag-present. Okay, so may itong bata to, so utal-utal siya. So, example, pala na John, I forgot to say. So, sabi ko sa kanya, John, you know, next week we're going to start presenting orally and everyone is going to present in front of the class. Would you want that you present it alone or privately with me? I can do that. Or are you comfortable with that? Or are you comfortable presenting in front of the class? Tapos nag-isip siya, bilis lang. Sabi niya, Miss, I'll present in front of the class. Diba? Nakakabilib. Diba? Nakakabilib. Kasi imagine with all his limitations, okay, alam na tatawanan siya. He presented in front of the class. Yung class ko nga 30, and ang rule ko doon is 1/3. Pag volunteer ka, 1/3 will have a +5. Okay? So, biro mo, second, nag-volunteer. So, yun. I really appreciate it. That's why I plan ko in-example to kasi hindi ko siya makalimutan. Plus also, I admire my class. Kasi even though all throughout the 3-minute talk, walang basa, talk, improv, ganyan. Walang tumawa. Tahimik. Okay. So after that SEM, I told the class, I'm very, very proud of you kasi with respect to each and every one and judgment to encourage your students. So yun, nakakabilib yung confidence niya, yung assurance niya. Okay? Next would be show enthusiasm. Ano ba enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is energy. Diba? High energy. Diba? Hindi ka pwedeng, mag-letter ka, hello, Hindi ganon. Kailangan energy ka. Okay, energetic. Yung secret sauce ng a highly engaging presentation or highly engaging interaction would be energy. So, there's something so compelling about being in the presence of someone who is genuinely enthusiastic, masaya, very energetic, etc. When you present in front of the class, or wherever, or here, diba? Be energetic. How do you get being energetic? By being positive. Okay? One thing, pag nag-present kayo sa public, okay? Public ha? O, maski dito. Ito naman kayo nakikita, pero maski dito. So, titingin kayo sa person na positive. Huwag kayo titingin sa negative na tao, yung may mukha na negative na nakaganon, o nakaganon. Tingin kayo sa nakaganon, nakatawa sa'yo. Doon ka makakakuha ng additional energy. Okay? Remember, your talk is not about you. Your talk is about them. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag pumunta ka sa stage, pag pumunta ka ngayon dito, your talk is about them. Huwag mo iisipin sarili mo. Huwag mo iisipin, ay, baka mali ang grammar ko. Ay, baka isipin nila bobo ko. Ay, baka sabihin eng-eng ako. Huwag mo isipin yon. Okay? So, yon.
Ma'am Babes,
So, show.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, your audio is a bit choppy.
Allah, so I will close my video. Sorry, I'll close my video. There. Okay, show enthusiasm. Next would be, next to be interested to be, be interested to be interesting. Sometimes we worry about anything, we worry that we don't have anything to share, diba? Okay, so read a lot. Okay, read a lot. Watch current events or talk shows. Huwag lang puro KTV, K-pop, or K-novela. Be interested with others. When you show interest, you become interesting. Next would be real. Exhibit authenticity. Okay? Pag malayo pa lang, alam mo na kung yung tao hindi totoo Di ba? So, try to make a good impression by being real. Don't be shy. Focus on being yourself and don't be shy. Mas engaging pag totoo ang tao. Okay? Huwag mo na isipin na kailangan ka mag-act ng ganito. Tingnan natin. Okay, huwag mo na isipin na kailangan ka mag-act ng ganito kasi maraming nagpupuna. Hate na hate ko yung mga nagpupuna. So pag puna sila ng puna, umaalis ako sa kanila kasi para hindi ka ma-effect. Yung mga nagpupuna, yung mga judge, ay, bakit si Susan ang arte-arte mo? Ay, OA mo. Huwag mo sila pansinin. Okay? Kasi inggit lang sila or meron din silang insecurities. So yon. So be yourself. Next would be congruent. Sasara ko uli, medyo nag-i-internet Okay, be congruent. There. Ano ibig sabihin ng congruent? So whatever you say, kailangan aligned dun sa non-verbal communication mo. Right? So kung nagmagawa ko ng interview, example, sa klase ko, may mock interview, ako yung employer, sila magi-interview. So sasabihin ko, what's your strength and what's your weakness? Sasabihin lang, I'm hardworking, I'm driven, etc. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin lang yon. Sasabihin mo in a context. Sabihin mo, I'm hardworking when there is a project. I'll give you an example. When there was a project that we made, etc., etc. I did everything, 24 hours, etc. Ganon. Ilalagay mo sa context. Okay? Next, be open. Be approachable and willing to consider others' perspectives or point of view. Okay? Hindi lang porque teacher ka, kailangan mo alam mo lahat. Okay? Kasi yung iba sinasabi, kailangan ko, dapat tama ako kasi teacher ako. Dapat ako tama kasi maaalis yung credibility ko. Hindi. Be open. Adopt an open approach. Last would be demonstrate trust. Okay? Demonstrate trust. To be trusted, you must trust others first. Okay? You must demonstrate trustworthiness. So here, these are the ways to be more engaging in your interaction. Exude confidence, show enthusiasm, be interested to be interesting, be real, be congruent, and project openness and be trustworthy. Now we proceed. Now, what are the secrets in creating online content and activities that are engaging? Okay, sometimes we get bored, diba? Students get bored. Siyempre, to be honest, minsan education, sometimes it's also boring. So we have to think of ways on how to make it engaging. These are the ways. Number one, wait lang, I'll drink. Number one would be, Neil, pakisabi na lang kung nagcha-choppy ulit ako. Number
Sure,
one
ma'am.
would, okay. Number one, make your video short and sweet. Okay? Like yung, di ba, yung sa Heroes Welcome, yung, ano yan, yung workshop ni Sir Jed. Di ba? So, videos maliliit, 1 minute, 2 minutes. The most should be 7 minutes. Now, if you have a long video, then i-chop-chop mo. Okay? Kasi maraming nga distractions ang mga students, maraming, plus mabobore sila. Di ba? So, yon. Make video short and sweet. Next, make your content entertaining. Pag sinabi ko entertaining, hindi naman nakakatawa. Entertaining is engaging, okay? Entertaining is maybe you can create stories. Pilipino mahilig sa storya. Hindi chismis ha, storya. And make a lot of visuals. Next, create a peer group community. Ano ba yung peer group community? Yung mga FB chat, or chat group, meron yan sa LMS. Kung wala, di lumabas kayo sa Facebook. So here, you can share your ideas, help each other on concepts that they don't understand, and this keeps them engaging. Next would be, show a progress bar regularly. Ano ba itong progress bar? Excuse me. Sa school, ay sa aking klase, pinapakita ko yung progress sila in terms of grades. So, sasabihin ko, kasi every week nagte-test ako. Bakit? Nung live ha, bakit? Kasi absent ng absent. Okay, at tatamad-tamad, hindi nakikinig. Hindi test ako every session. So, yon. So, that lesson by absences. So, test ako. And then, I show them. So, every week, ito na yung grades nyo. Okay? So, yon. Every week, sinashow ko yung progress. And then, pag nandyan na yung midterm grade, sasabihin ko, to get an A or to get a 1, a 2, a 3, or whatever, okay, forecast natin. So, sa tingin mo, sa finals, ilan na forecast natin. So, yon, it makes them, na-motivate sila. Another thing is, kunyari 6 modules ka lang, kunyari 1.5 months. So, sasabihin ko, every session before I start, sasabihin ko, okay, we're now in the module 1, etc., etc. Tapos, kung next week, we're now in module 2 or in module 1, ito yung pinag-aralan natin. Yun, until ma-reach ang module 5. So, now, alam na nila na, 1 week na lang kay Miss Lenera. O yun. So, module 5, tas 1 week na lang, and then goodbye na tayo. So, yun. You show your progress regularly. Next would be, relate these lessons to real-life scenarios. So, example, let's say there are 2 ways of giving an essay. You give them the instruction, explain what you expect, and wait for students to deliver the projects with the deadline. That's one. Or the second one would be give them instructions, explain what you expect, but relate the assignment to the real world around them with concrete examples of how the topic can relate to their lives. Okay, so mapapaisip na sila nun. So they will take ownership for that. And how can you do that? By journals, blogs, or vlogs, audio, or podcast, okay, or group work. Next, gamification. There, gamify the educational process. Last Saturday, I showed you a lot of games. I will show you some para makagawa kayo ng games. So gamification is very powerful. So here, when you're looking for a way to keep your students engaged, try to introduce a game in the classroom. So example, you're teaching science. Your students can have a vocabulary contest. You give them words of scientific concepts and they will have to explain them. Or naka-time yun. Or pwede kang mag-puzzle. Meron sa Kahoot na pwede kang gumawa ng puzzle. So ikaw gagawa ng description tapos yun, yung concepts. Or if you're teaching history, you can play a memory game. Remember, a memory game, di ba yung bata tayo may box blocks, tapos ima-match mo pagbukas, tapos mali pala. Yun, memory game. Or matching type, right? Now, if you're teaching literature naman, you can make a storytelling game. Like, kunyari, si student 1, siya mag-umpisa, kwento. Then I say, stop! I call student 2. Kukontinue naman niya kung anong kwento hanggang makabuo kami ng story. So, you have to be creative. I'm sure creative naman kayo. So there are limitless opportunities for gamification. Just be creative, and you'll know or you'll find out that it's really fun to teach. And then I'll show you some examples. And then we can have Virtual tours. Bawal na ngayon ang lumabas, di ba? Sabi ni Kim Chiu, bawal lumabas. So, bawal lumabas. So, do a virtual tour. Marami yan. I will show them to you. Again, you can use this for literature. You can use this for history. Ganon. Meron yan sa net. I'll show you. And lastly would be use technology and make the lessons interactive. Okay, so yan, lahat namang, so if you make your lessons interactive and collaborative, then this is the best. You can put engagements on lessons and assignments. So I'll show you there. Okay, so here are some lang. So synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous would be live, asynchronous would be self-paced. So pwede kang mag-lecture synchronous live, lecture synchronous live, yeah. 'Di ba? Actually, pwede ka rin mag-lecture asynchronous dun sa LMS mo. Pwede ka mag-breakout rooms. Dito sa Zoom, may breakout room. So, kunyari, team building. Yon, team building. Meron kang Socratic discussions. Ito yung sinasabi ko na may rapid fire discussions, rapid fire questions. Meron kang deep thinking, ganyan. Pero lahat, it's gonna be an engaging activity for all. Asynchronous can be discussion boards. Sa LMS may discussion boards. Parang forum, okay? Sulat lang nila. And then you can have videos, di ba? Di ba remember I told you last Saturday, videos, talking head or screen capture. And then meron kang podcast. Podcast is audio lang. And meron kang blogs, journals, or vlogs. Now, this is what you can do, whiteboard activities. Okay? If dito sa Zoom, hold on, I'll stop. Sandali lang. Dito sa Zoom, nasan ba? Basta dito sa Zoom, meron siyang whiteboard. Meron siyang whiteboard tool na you can use. Tingnan nyo na lang, mawawala lang kasi ako kung i-whiteboard ko to eh. Okay? And then, as I've said, virtual tours can be synchronous or asynchronous. Sabay-sabay kayo while nag-live. Okay? Meron din games. You can do it synchronous or asynchronous. Do it yourself. Or meron kang, pwede ka mag-jingle. Actually, before, sa whiteboard activity, may teacher, math teacher yata nagtanong, paano ako ma-teach yung activity pag whiteboard? Actually, di ba sabi ni Jed na demonstration? So pwede rin sa whiteboard dito sa Zoom, teach mo, di ba? Or if the kid, you're going to say sa kid na, okay, gamitin mo yung whiteboard sa Zoom, record this. So I would know that you did it the right process. Record this and you send the file to me. Okay? And you can have jingle. Masaya ang jingle. Kunyari, para lang to understand the concept. Make a jingle. Actually, in one of my school, isang teacher doon, nagpa-jingle ng math concept. Sino mo? So, ang layo, di ba? Pero jingle. So, kunyari, jingle about science concept. Yung gano'n. Tuwang-tuwa sila doon sa mga jingle. Tuwang-tuwa sila kasi kumakanta sila sa may camera. And then here, mock interview. Okay, this is what I do. Debate. You can do debate sa Zoom. Kasi pag nagtasalita naman yung isa, pupunta naman yung camera dun sa isa. And then role plays, I did it already, role plays already. Okay, so isa-isang nagsasalita sa Zoom. Okay, nag-arte-arte siya, facial expression. TV segment, I did this as well. I'll show you an example. And then concept board. Concept board is parang storyboard na kung ano yung naintindihan lang doon, ilagay nila sa concept board. Sa isang board, ando yung mga pictures and then they have to explain. And then slideshow. So, yon. So, I'd like to show you here an example of what I did lang. Hold on, ha? I'll stop it lang. Wait lang. There. Wait lang. I'll show you lang my lecture. This. Okay. Can you see? I hope you can see. So this is the lecture of in the other school na ginamit namin, Neo LMS. So ito yung asynchronous. So nilagay ko dito, it's like you're talking, di ba? So last week we discussed about new business letter. Today we'll be focusing on resume. So talagang kinakausap mo siya. So please go to our Zoom learning area so we can start the link. Now ito, please go to the Zoom learning area kasi magla-live ako. So kudos to Sir Noni kasi siya yung nagsabi, lagi natin Zoom learning area. So, finalo ko naman. So, Zoom learning area. So, if they click here, pupunta na sila sa Zoom. As I've said, pwedeng before or after class. So, ito, pero ito yung LMS ko, may laman. Hindi lang sinalpak ko yung PowerPoint ko. Dati ginawa ko yun, di ba? So, yun. So, ito, may laman, may visuals ka, may mga spacing ka, kung hindi, madidrain. There. Tapos, naglagay ako ng video, niluka ko lang sa YouTube, okay? Tapos, meron akong screen cam. Screen capture video. So, yon. Okay? So, ito yung mga units ko. Yan. Next, stop share. So, yan yung, hold on, nasa ba? Wait lang. Nawala. There. Okay. So, yan, lectures. Diba? So, depende paano mo gawin. Paano mo i-gawin very engaging as well. Hindi lang kasalpak ng salpak doon. Even in your words, kailangan kausap mo sila. Next, we go to their Z-things. Ano ba ang Z-things? I'll show you. Okay, this is just a short video. Hold on. Wait. I'll show you. Wait lang. Wait. Z-things. There. Okay. Share. Ito. There. Okay. If you can.
Welcome to Speedings. It's a completely new way of engaging your team, customers, students, or any audience really in a collaborative conversation that gives you insight into what they're really thinking. When I present, everyone can join in via my unique link from their phones, tablets, or laptops. That's it. Seedings works on any device, and there's nothing to download or install. Participants don't even need to create an account. Seedings keeps us on the same page, so when I move to the next slide, everyone automatically follows. And it works with my existing presentations, like this one I created in PowerPoint. It's not just about slides though, as Seeding is interactive, so I can get feedback in real time. Second wheel, eh? Videos work perfectly too. You're gonna love this one. People lets your audience see who's who, and if anyone wants to take notes, there's a spot for that too. Notes are private. Activity is where the action is. Everyone posts questions or comments. Great question. I can display it on the big screen with just one click so everyone knows what I'm answering. I can also display the whole feed as a live wall. This really gets people involved. Let the group post anonymously so they share what they're really thinking, and use up votes to know which questions they really want answered. The great thing about Seedings is it's really easy to use. Creating polls takes just a few seconds. What do we call this thing? Let's try dual wheel cycle on for size. Definitely. No way. And make blue. The same goes for surveys, embedding content, adding videos, and more. New content is added to the end of your seating and can then be moved into place with just a drag and drop. And it's not just for live presenting. You can also send a link to a seating so people can page through it, vote, and comment in their own time. You'll get notified along the way, so you know exactly what's happening. And by the way, all that feedback you collect from responses and polls to personal information you ask participants for is all accessible in your analytics dashboard. You can export too. Looks like we're getting into the bicycle business. Engagement, insight, that's Seedings.
Okay, so sa Z-things, hold on, nawala. Sa Z-things, it's free and no need to download kasi it's web-based. Now we go to another one. I'll share my slide. Okay, so there. Another one would be, to make it engaging, would be TV segment. Magkapagawa kayo ng TV segment sa mga estudyante nyo. Pwedeng booking segment, pwedeng motoring segment, pwedeng, depende sa concept ng subject. Okay? So, pwedeng news segment, pwedeng, kunyari, science segment, yung mga ganon, or math segment. So, I'll show you an example ulit. Hold on. Wait lang. So, this, there. Ito ginawa ng estudyante ko. This. Okay. Wait lang. There.
Hello, Mr. Welcome to my evening program, Coding with Jazz. So what I'm going to be making is an easy way to cook a vegetable. Because we're in a quarantine period, so we need to cook something that is easy and hopefully not heavy. So I'm going to start with an egg, one egg.
So, yun. So, as I've said, pwede siyang, hindi lang, ito cooking segment lang to, but you can have a science segment, a math segment, a Filipino segment, whatever, di ba? TV, ito, ano to last sem lang to, during the lockdown na. So, sabi ko, mag-pre-record sila and choose any segment, beauty segment, ganyan. So, depende na kung ano ang subject mo. Next, we go to, close ko lang to, next, we go to, I'll go back to my slide. There. Now, this is Kahoot. Okay, minsan naririnig nyo to. This is where you can do your games. You can do your own game. And this is free as well. Wait lang. Sorry hindi kasi hindi smooth ang transition. Wait lang. So, Kahoot. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. There. So Kahoot is this.
Hi, we're Kahoot. We're on a mission to make learning awesome. Our game-based learning platform is used by millions of people all over the world. Teachers, students, company employees, and lifelong learners. Kahoot makes it easy to create fun learning games or trivia quizzes in minutes, anytime, anywhere. We call them Kahoots. It works for any subject, in any language, on any device. You can also discover and play existing games. There are millions of Kahoots in our library. Kahoot can be played in a live setting with questions on a big screen, or on your mobile device where you see questions and answers on one screen. As well as in schools, Kahoot is played in companies, at events, and even parties to make learning awesome. Sign up today at kahoot.com. Let's play.
Okay, so yun, here, stop it now, stop share. Okay, so there sa Kahoot, you can do your own game, di ba? You can do your own game. So I'll go back again to my slide. There, so meron na tayong Kahoot, meron na tayong games, okay? Lilito na ako. Okay, now you can go collaboration. Again, you have to be creative. I think I showed you this, no? So, I'll show you again kasi medyo nakakatuwa. So, ito, ginawa namin to. It's collaboration. It's a program na nationwide, different schools nationwide. One from sa Calderiera, meron sa Cagayan de Oro, meron sa Batangas, ganon. And all of them, all the students came together here sa Zoom. They learned, ano ba tinuro ko noon? I think I taught oral communication. O yun. Tapos, di ba, ang sabi ko sa inyo, ang exercise was the memorization. So, the yung night before, I gave them a long poem to use. To memorize. Kasi nga, the activity is memorize delivery. So, akala nila, pwede silang mag-cheat kasi tingin-tingin. Pala, naka-blindfold. So, I'll show you. Wait lang. Okay, stop. And then, eto. Okay. Wait lang. Ma-under na siya. Eto. Okay, let's start.
Over the news. In Jersey, if you have anxiety,
Ibang school
about
na.
COVID-19 update happening, please do not listen. And I honestly do not know where I stand. I am an international student studying in the UK, and I realized that I would probably not be able to to properly say goodbye to the city I ended falling in love with. My friends with whom I have countless memories with left in 1 minute. And like every other student, I have no idea what will happen into the status of my exam. Or will I ever be able to properly graduate? To hug my teachers and tell them thank you. During this chaos, we then realize the weight of humanity, the implications of our actions, and how we are all connected. And may I quote Titi Omira has spent and people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being. And to all those with depression and other issues that is making social distancing, please be strong. Let's pray through this together. Let us spread more love and be there for each other.
Okay, so yon, di ba? It's ano, so I'll stop, it lang, there. So it's a type of collaboration. Ito, inedit ko lang to, but you can use this sa Zoom. Lahat sila blindfold and sasabihin mo, okay, Caldera, go. And then, okay, Nova Scholar, stop, I go. Ganon, di ba? Pwede kang maging creative. You can use that sa Zoom. Next, we'll have the virtual tours. Ito. So I'll show you some virtual tours. So you can use, meron to sa internet. You can just look at the internet. So these are some, hold on, virtual tour. Wait lang. Ala? Oh. Neil, is my audio working? Ala?
There's
Video
no
po,
audio.
ma'am. There's no audio po.
Ala? Why? I'll show you. I will show you. Ala? Bakit? There. This.
Baka nakamute. I think the video is on mute now.
Para makita nyo.
Nakamute po yung video, ma'am.
Nakamute ang video? There. Okay. Virtual tours. Yan, ang virtual. Titanic. Alam mo yung gano'n. Ala, bakit wala akong audio? Okay. So these are the audio. Wait lang, susulat lang ako. Neil!
Nakamute po
have-
yung video audio, ma'am, sa YouTube.
Sa video audio?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Nakamute. We could hear you, but
Okay. Kasi nakalagay dito your speaker is not working. So talagang walang audio yon. Okay? So, yan. Now you can hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Very good. Nagpanic. Okay, next would be, eto. Last would be, so those are virtual tours, okay? At least you can see the virtual tours. Next would be, hold on. Sensya na ha. Techie problems. Nawala. Ang dali lang. Share. And then we go back to virtual tour. So ayun, meron Titanic. What I showed you was Titanic. And the other one, meron tour on the Vatican or tour on Anne Frank, mga ganon. Parami kang makukuha. And then we have jingle. Okay, you can do this. This is very fun. I'd like to show you a jingle. Wait lang, jingle. Ay, shucks. Sandali lang. 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. There. So this, show you. There.
Girl, I need to change my path, and then you're too afraid. So you ended up with that way. Now you can see me hanging out, and the boys are playing me out, cause they know I'm feeling great.
So yun, that's one example of a jingle. They love doing jingles. Ito pa isa. Wait lang. Ito pa. So kasi nakakatuwa sila. And they have fun doing this. Ito. Okay, I'll show it to you. There. There.
I finally found what I've been looking for. Take by the blue, take by the blue, take by the blue.
So yun. So those are examples of jingle. So we go back. There. So ang dami-daming magagawa nyo. So yun. Okay. So these are just some examples. You just have to be creative. Next, we go to my last portion would be helpful tips in online teaching. I hope you can still hear me ha. Matatapos na ako. Okay. So what are the helpful tips in online teaching? Number one, you have to be prepared. Of course, you have to be prepared, okay? You have to be prepared and start strong. May nga nagsabi, everything begins before you begin. So start strong para magkaroon ka ng malaking impact. Okay, you have to be prepared in your content. Di ba, when face-to-face, you have to check your equipment. You're going to check kung projector ba, nagwo-work, yung whiteboard, meron ka bang whiteboard marker. In online teaching, you have to start strong. You should be prepared. Okay, so start strong para magkaroon ng impact. Next would be yourself. Sinabi ko na kanina, for you to connect with the other person, you have to be yourself. Amplify your personality, okay? Remember this, I read this somewhere, okay? Do not be a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of others. So be original, be real. Next would be present yourself, especially in online, di ba? Even though online ka, look professional. Kaya nga ako like here, meron akong virtual background. So yun, I want to look professional kasi ayoko naman pakita yung kitchen ko or what. Though, kung wala kayong Zoom, pwede rin yun, but just choose a place na walang distractions, tahimik, at hindi mukhang homey, di ba? Kung may corner ka dyan na tahimik or malinis, dun ka. Okay, present yourself the way you dress. Okay, kasi first impression, okay? You know naman the first impression last. Next would be ito. Sa online, look at the camera. There, I am looking at you at my camera. Okay, this means when you are looking at the camera, you are making a conversation. Do not look below. Huwag mo titingnan sarili mo. Okay? Pag titingnan mo sarili mo, nakatingin ka sa baba. Look at the camera there. So every time the lens of the camera is the eyes of your students or the eyes of the audience. Okay? Kasi in online teaching, it's a conversation. Okay? Hindi siya lecture. Diba? Conversation siya para maging engaging at para magkaroon ka ng impact, para mag-connect ka sa estudyante. So always remember, look at your camera. So minsan kasi, usually pababa, di ba? Mas maganda pababa ay mas kasi dapat straight yan, ganyan. Kaya ito patong-patong to eh. Di ba? Pwede rin pataas, ganyan. Pag pataas daw, papayat ang mukha mo. Pag pababa, makikita yung chin mo. Head on, same lang. Okay? Next is, so look at the camera. Yan ang camera. Look, always remember. Then be engaging. That's what I said. When students are engaged, learning is maximized. Naiintindihan, naaalala. Okay? So be creative, be enthusiastic, and full of energy, and be positive. And that ends my lecture. It's there. Be prepared. Ito pa pala. Be prepared. Be yourself. Present yourself well. Look at the camera and be engaging. Okay? It's 12:10. I'm right on time. So again, that ends my lecture. Thank you po sa lahat na nandito, sa Zoom, sa Facebook. Marami pong salamat. At saka pala, I saw your comments last Saturday. You're very, very kind. Thank you po. Gusto ko sana mag-answer. Kaso lang ito yung answer ko, tumatalon. Agad, ganyan. Okay? So marami pong salamat. So I think now, magko-Q&A na po tayo.
Hi, Miss Suzanne.
Yes.
Before we proceed to the Q&A, we have a video of Sir Joel Santos to remind us about the Heroes website.
Okay.
I'll just play it on, and then if you have any questions, please use the Q&A button during this time. Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you. I'll be back. I will close.
Magandang umaga po mga taga DepEd NCR. This is Joel Santos po, presidente po ng Thames International. Masaya po kami na nandito kayo at sinasamahan nyo ngayong kaming Sabado kasi patuloy po ang ating Heroes program. Share ko lang po ang aking screen. Tsaka sa mga nasa FB Live po, magandang umaga rin po. Thank you. At sama-sama tayo ngayon sa ating pag-aaral, di ba? Sa online learning. So, share ko lang po uli ang ating programa. Ang pangalan po ay Heroes. Yan, ito po. Ito po ang ating Heroes program. Heroes 2021 stands for Help Educators Rise to Online Education for School Year 2021. Ito po ay isang project po ng Thames International in partnership with the National Capital Region DepEd Division. So, ito po, may kasama po tayong learning partners sa EduRescue at Akadasia. Ang objective po natin is to really move forward to a new normal, the new normal in education with a clear purpose na handang-handa po tayo. At ito po ang really ang programa natin. Ngayon, this is a rapid training program po in 2 stages to ensure that 100% of DepEd NCR teachers are ready for online learning. Pagsimula po ng ating school year ngayong taon ito. So, ito po, 2 stages na we hope to finish within the before the start of the school year. So, a little bit lang po sa amin bilang the project proponent, ang Thames International Business School po, kami po yung naunang international college sa Pilipinas. We started po in 1999. At that time po, we were the first international college kasi po ang mga degree namin galing UK, Singapore, at Australia. Pero ngayon po, accredited na kami ng Commission of Higher Education at saka ng Department of Education. Noong 2018 po, nagsimula na ang digital transformation ng Thames. Nagsimula na po kami magturo sa blended learning, kino-combine po namin ng online at face-to-face. Dahil po dito, nung nagkaroon po tayo ng lockdown sa Metro Manila, successful po ang migration ng Thames International sa 100% online learning. Actually po, naging online school kami, totally 100%. So ito po yung campus namin, pero nung nag-lockdown po, online registration na po kami, online payment, tsaka online learning. So yung buong eskwelahan po na-transform sa online and virtual. Dahil po dito, naisipan namin na i-share ang aming knowledge. So inimbita po namin ang aming mga learning partners, isa po dyan si EduRescue. Isa rin po siyang teacher, school for teachers na nasimulan po yan dahil sa pandemic. Ang focus po niya ay yung mga emergency training na kailangan ng teachers para maging online lecturer. Ang other partner po natin yung Akadasia, Singapore company po sila na nasa EdTech. And sila po yung trainer ng Thames for the past 2 years. So 2 years na po nagka-training ang Thames International, ang mga lecturers namin. At Akadasia po ang trainer namin from Singapore. So our lecturers po from Thames are all Singapore trained. So ang kwento ko lang po, nung nag-lockdown nga po, March 16, nag-open po ang Thames International na virtual school, 100%. Ito po yung mga klase namin habang kinoconduct. Ito po ang aming learning management system. Free po siya, galing po siya sa Singapore. Ito po yung iba naming classes. Nakikita niyo po na hindi lang siya basta live video, may mga presentations din po siya. So ang isa pong testimonial sa estudyante namin, they said, Thames did a good job of humanizing technology. Yan po ang gusto kong ipaalam na ang online learning po hindi lang puro tech yan. Ang online learning po basically, nililipat natin ang galing natin at eksperto natin sa pagtuturo na face-to-face o physical into an online environment. At dyan po ang expertise namin sa school is how we humanize technology and how we transferred the classroom environment to a virtual environment. So yan po yung testimonial ng aming estudyante. Ito naman po ang testimonial ng aming lecturer after 1 term. Sabi niya, it's a good day, happy naman siya sa class attendance, naka-quiz pa nga siya online, tapos nagulat siya sa responses. So, both lecturers and students were able to go to online learning successfully kasi po prepared. Hindi ko po sasabihin na super kaming expert. Ang lamang po lang namin medyo may 2 taon na po kaming experience at yan po ang gusto namin i-share. So after 2 years of blended learning and 1 full term 100%, we really want to share our learnings to help other schools and that's why po may partnership tayo with DepEd NCR. Ang aming pong objective is no school or student will be left behind. Hindi po dahil may crisis, yung mga lalong pang lalaki ang digital divide. Hindi po yan. So nandito po kami, ang Thames, EduRescue, at Akadasia, para tumulong sa ating mga DepEd teachers na makamigrate sa online learning. Alam po natin sa DepEd, marami po tayong options. Di ba? Sa ating delivery ng flexible learning, meron po tayong modules na printed, meron tayong TV. Ito naman po yung training nyo sa online learning. So, ang konsepto po natin, ang mga estudyante natin ay now, tawag po natin sa mga estudyante natin Gen Z. Gen Z po sila kasi pinanganak sila na nakadikit na yung cellphone sa kanilang umbilical cord. At tawag po sa atin, digital natives. No? So, technology is really something that they were born with. Ang ating pedagogy po ngayon ay magiging flipped classroom, which means dapat mag-prepare ang estudyante bago pumasok sa online classroom. At lahat po kayo itatrain natin maging e-facilitators para ma-achieve natin yung flexible and online learning so that no matter what crisis you're in, hindi po ito ang huli natin pandemic. Meron pong darating, unfortunately, sa Metro Manila po, inihintay pa natin ang the big one, di ba? Kaya tayo mga may earthquake drills. So, we will have crises left and right. Pero if we are able to develop our flexible and online learning capability po, hindi matutuloy at hindi madidisrupt ang ating pag-deliver ng edukasyon sa ating mga estudyante. So ito pong program, sinabi ko nga po, ng Heroes 2021 is Stage 1 tsaka Stage 2. Yung Stage 1 po is the Flexible Learning Toolkit. Magkakaroon po kayo ng Philippine Certificate. Ang Stage 2 naman po ay create your online course galing Singapore. Magkakaroon po kayo ng Singapore Certificate. So unique po to. Hindi po to webinar. Itong webinar na binibigay natin ngayon ay suporta lang po yan. But the whole course is actually online. So ma-experience nyo po how it is to be an online student. Di ba nga, para maging teacher na magaling, kailangan po natin ma-feel kung anong buhay ng isang estudyante. So during this course, you will go through the whole online student experience na meron po tayong synchronous na self-paced on your own po, online. Tapos ito naman pong binibigay namin sa inyo, ang ating webinar is ang synchronous, which is the live session. So online learning po, to be effective, has to be both asynchronous na self-paced, tsaka live session tulad nito, na synchronous. So ito po ang i-undergo nyo during this next 2 to 3 weeks to finish stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 1 nga po, Thames tsaka EduRescue ang inyong certificate. Sa stage 2 naman po, Thames tsaka Akadasia from Singapore ang inyong certificate. Hindi po to seminar. Meron po tayong assessment. Pero wag po kayong matakot sa assessment because we'll give you several chances sa assessment nyo. But this assessment or online exam is really part of the experience of being a student. Di ba? Kailangan po natin maramdaman kung ano ang mga online quizzes. So kasama po yan sa inyong full course. So, dapat nyong tapusin po ang stage 1 bago pumunta sa stage 2. Ang sponsors po natin dito ay ang mga bangko talagang tuloy-tuloy po ang suporta sa ating mga DepEd teachers. Yan po ang City Savings Bank, matagal na pong natin partner, tsaka ang Union Bank. Sila po ang sponsor natin. Kaya po libre ang stage 1. Ang course po na to ay 3,000 pesos pero nilibre na po natin to dahil nga po sa ating mga sponsors. So, para po makasimula sa inyong course, sa mga hindi pa po nakapag-register sa stage 1, punta po kayo sa website natin, www.heroes2021.org. Meron po kayong dapat coupon code galing sa inyong CID chief. Kunin niyo po yun. Kaya po, hindi kayo magbabayad ng 3,000 pesos. Libre na po to. Kunin niyo lang po yung coupon code nyo sa inyong CID chief. At ang unang nga pong course ay manggagaling sa EduRescue. So, ito po ang itsura ng website. Makikita niyo po doon. Makikita niyo po doon kung saan magre-register. Magkiklik po kayo para mag-enroll. Pagkatapos niyo po ibigay ang inyong coupon code. So, excited na po kami na maturuan tayong lahat at i-share knowledge namin dito sa Heroes 2021 from Thames International, EduRescue, tsaka Akadasia in partnership nga po sa DepEd NCR. So DepEd NCR po ang nauuna sa buong Pilipinas na magkaroon ng full online teaching course.
Lay, okay na? Hello, Lay. Hi, partner. Hi.
Yes, ma'am. The video is done. You can proceed to the Q&A po.
Okay, andito na naman kami sa talk show. Andito si Sir Jed para mag-answer ng question kasama ko. Okay, thank you. Nakita ko yung mga comments. Ang gaganda. Salamat po. Salamat po. Actually, this is my last lecture for this series. So sana magkita ulit tayo sa next series. Okay?
Yes. Zan, ma'am, ang favorite part ko ng lecture nyo, yung nagsa-sign language kayo, akala nyo wala kayo.
Nagpanic. Sabi ko nga, ano to? Titanic yung pinapakita ko, Titanic.
Yan ang creativity, nasa sign language mo ang Titanic.
Okay. Lay, mag-umpisa na ba ako ng question and answer?
Sure, ma'am. There are questions in the Q&A button.
Okay, what if a student don't have any means of joining online class? Well, that's why we have the asynchronous, yung self-paced. Okay? So, pwede naman, dapat nga yung self-paced mo is really talagang kompleto na or, you know, it can stand alone para if they can't join the online class, o di, yun na yun, right? Plus, kung online class ay may turo ay assessment or test, edi gawin na lang niya in another platform. Next, is it still engaging? If we let all the students participate online via Google Meet or Zoom to close the camera to allow best privacy. I asked my students to close their camera. Nag-open lang ako ng camera at the start to check attendance. Okay? Pero pinapasara ko yung camera kasi it also affects the bandwidth. Okay, ang bilis naman to tumatalon. Ma'am, may problema ako, sadyang maingay ang lugar namin dahil nga sa nature ng place. Paano kaya ako mag-present na di maririnig outside noise? Sir Jed, what do you think? Kasi medyo challenging yan, no? Either pumunta ka sa kapatid mo na may bahay na tahimik, or let's say sa lugar, let's say sa field or sa barangay na you can ask. I don't know. Sir Jed?
Yeah, that's actually a common concern and actually tama po na iniisip nyo yun because kung merong ambient noise, makaka-distract. Para po yung equivalent sa isang nagzo-Zoom meeting kayo tapos isang maingay. So, Well, ang solution dyan, best is really, tama si Ma'am Suzanne, you have a place for your synchronous sessions. Yung hanap ka na ng pinaka hindi maingay na place. So sarado niyo yung bintana, tapos make sure hindi maingay. And the best is to use a microphone or a headphone, yung headphone na may mic, at least para mabawasan yung ambient noise. Marami niyan sa mga online shops na hindi naman ganun kamahalan.
Okay, ask ko lang po kung paano ma-master ng batang electrical skills kung wala siyang sapat na gamit sa bahay. Paano po mag-guide the teacher through online learning, lalo na kung hindi po sapat ang video na pinapakita ko sa kanila. Then kuha ka ng mga visual na step-by-step to show or to teach him how to do electrical skills. Or kung may video, pero kung wala, di yung picture na step-by-step. Okay? Thank you, Ms. Suzanne. Thank you, Ms. Magat. So encouraging to watch you giving the lecture at the same time, so all the challenges that we could be encountering. I believe it's high time. Tumatalon to. High time to explore the platform in teaching. Yeah. Thank you. Wala rin po kasi akong private room. Yeah, I know, Marilu. Personally, based on your experience, do you think online learning will be 100% okay for 2021? 100% okay? Maybe we're going there, yeah? But we don't have any choice, right? So, but if you learn nga all these, let's just think positive. Sir Jed, what do you think?
That's another good question and a common question. And this is how I answer that, no? Kung ready ba tayo? Actually, hindi lang tayong teachers, hindi lang tayong school. Another question is, ready na ba yung parents and ready na yung students? Ang sagot dyan, hindi natin alam. Kasi ang buong mundo hindi naman ready sa COVID. But ang message sa ating mga teachers is that kahit hindi ready, kahit hindi pa 100%, or minsan dahil unknown lahat to, hindi pa natin alam ano ang mangyayari. So, tayong mga teachers, kahit hindi, ganyan talaga ang frontliners, sugod lang tayo. Diba? Because online learning, flexible learning, modular learning, offline learning, lahat ng learning na yan is better than no learning. Kasi kung hindi nagka-learning ang mga estudyante natin, sa oath natin bilang teachers, na-imagine nyo, magkaka-educational crisis ang buong Pilipinas. So, okay lang po yan. We are all experimenting. Wala namang expectation sa atin. Ang importante, may puso pa rin ang teacher na sumugod at gawin. Kahit mahirap, kahit out of your comfort zone, sugod lang po tayo kasi responsibility natin yan as educators.
Okay, ask ko po na lang po kasi ako nakapasok dito sa Zoom last 2 webinar. Nakapasok o hindi nakapasok? Counted po ba yun? And how about if matapos na ang stage 1 at mag 100%, paano makakuha ng certificate? Yung webinar wala naman certificate. Yung heroes ang may certificate. This is optional. Sir Jed, tama?
Yes. You have to enroll in the heroes2021.org. Para sa mga hindi taga NCR, sorry po, magkakaroon tayo ng isa para sa nationwide, but as of now, yung NCR pa lang ang may mga coupon code to enroll. But you have to enroll there. Your certificate will be based there and we will just put recordings of the webinars there.
Okay, paano kung ang pinapagamit sa amin ay Google Meet? Maaari po rin ba yung strategies na ibinahagi ko? Yes, you can do it. Except wala lang Google Meet na virtual, pati wala rin yata siyang breakout room. Okay, so yung iba pwede, yeah. Good morning. Ang maging problem ko sa online ay ang internet access ng mga student and also sa budget ng pang-load nila. Yeah, this is true. May kita ko problema sa nag-aaral. Actually, sa totoo lang, tama ito eh. Problema talaga to, yung mga load ng mga bata. Yeah, so that's why meron din naman flexible learning. Okay. Sir Jet, tama ba yun?
Yes. Actually, with our school, kasi meron rin po kaming school, no? Yung Nova Escola Tanawan, yung mga nakita niyo po, mga estudyante namin yan. School ng Thames, nasa Tanawan, Batangas po kami, and Middle Market School po kami. Most of our students come from the public school, and that's one of the issues. Yung online po, saka yung connectivity is a real problem, but just like yung schools po, may kanya-kanyang programa. So merong online, merong blended, merong downloadable, merong low bandwidth, saka may full modular. So, depende rin po yan sa school nyo. But in the end po, aasa na lang po tayo sa ingenuity at saka sa creativity ng Filipino kasi tayo naman po, nasanay tayo or ever since, kahit konti ang resources natin, nagagawa ng paraan. Diyan naman po magaling ang Filipino. So, I think the first part mahirapan ng konti, but I'm very confident the teachers, the students, and the parents, makaka-adjust po dito. I'm sure yung mga tamang idea lalabas as nag-start tayo ng school year.
Okay, is it necessary for us to put copyright on the contents we make? Necessary? Copyright? Not for me, not necessary. But I put my name on all my PowerPoint kasi nga, di ba, kinuha na ng other teacher yung PowerPoint ko without asking me. Naglalagay ako ng name, tapos pini-PDF ko para hindi makopya. Okay, we're done with stage 1. When can we have stage 2 on our online course, Sir Jed?
Stage 2 is after July 28, I think. No? So, tatapusin natin itong series of webinars natin. And dun po sa online course natin, yung self-paced, kung saan nyo nakikita ako nagtuturo, meron pa itong third section na mag-open, I think, tomorrow. Tomorrow pa mag-open yung third section about how to teach live with Google Meet, how to do synchronous. So, bukas pa yung mag-open kasi naka-stages po yan. So, after July 28 pa po, ang 28 if I'm not mistaken, ang stage 2.
Okay, Jocelyn, salamat ha. Is stage 1 still open for the first enrollment?
Yes, you can still enroll, and then kung na-miss nyo po yung mga webinars, ilalagay po namin sa online course sa heroes2021.org yung mga previous webinars. So enroll lang po kayo sa heroes2021.org.
Okay, ito pa, Sir Jed. Good PM, any advice in helping us teacher how to manage parental controls in managing online platforms when it comes to online teaching? So to be aware of our limits and sharing.
Okay. So yung parental participation po sa mga online learning, depende po yan sa ginagamit nyo pong learning management system. Marami na po kayo narinig by now na LMS, Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, Google Classroom, iba-iba pong pangalan. So depende po yon, una sa policy ng school nyo, kung anong engagement ang pwede sa parents, and second, anong capability ng LMS nyo po.
Okay, the problem is the high-speed computer and internet connection. Paano po kaya ito? Kaya nga importante na malakas ang content mo sa asynchronous. Kasi like ako kanina, nawalan ako ng mic, na mukha naman akong eng-eng. Salita ako na salita, hindi ko alam, wala na pala akong boses. So yon. So importante talaga yung asynchronous mo complete. What if kung wala talagang internet ang bata at wala siyang mga gadget? May flexible learning. What, Jed? What do you think?
For our school po, ang kunyari, iba-iba pong levels Ang ginawa po namin sa Nova Scola po, sa Tanawan, kinategorize po namin based on our survey yung capabilities ng students namin and ng parents. So, for example, yung mga walang internet, ginagamit po namin Facebook. Sa Messenger po, meron na siyang bagong grouping. Pwede siyang text-based. Okay? So at least okay yon kesa naman na physical. And then yung pinakawala po na walang gadget at saka walang internet, dyan po papasok ang modular. Yung offline na po, yung printed modules.
Okay, Madam, can you give us hint or samples on how to adopt these strategies or style in physical education? Madali lang kasi like you can do demonstration, you can do recordings, okay, of your exercises or whatever, or pasayawin mo sila, di ba? And pasayawin mo sila in such a way na they can demonstrate, maintindihan nila yung tinuro mo in terms of dance or in terms of action. Madali lang. Okay, or demonstration or step-by-step sa visual. What are the challenges you encountered with children on online classes? Hindi ako nagtuturo ng mga batang-bata. Nagtuturo ako ng ng college, pati 11th, 12th. Actually, sa mga 11 and 12, magugulo sila. But I think Sir Jed can answer this. Children?
Well, I think online learning is universal. Sa children po, ito lang po isipin nyo. yung mga bata po ngayon, minsan may ginagawa sila. Yung mga elementary, may ginagawa sila isang bagay. Tapos pag tinanong nyo sila, saan mo natutunan yan? Ang sasabihin nila, sa YouTube. So actually, nag-online learning na sila sa YouTube eh. So, kung i-organize nyo lang po yung tinuro ni Ma'am Suzanne, saka dito sa ating mga workshop, gagawin mong formal education, I think it's very viable. In fact, baka nga mas mabilis pang matuto ang mga mas bata kaysa dun sa mga older students.
Okay, what's the difference between TV segment and YouTube video presentation? Actually, the YouTube video presentation is just a platform. Ang TV segment, technique lang yan. So, pinapagawa ko sila ng TV segment, cooking segment, science segment, whatever, parang theme. Okay, tapos papalabas nila, lalagay nila sa YouTube. Di ba sabi ko last Saturday, pinapalagay ko sa YouTube para mas mabilis ang pagpakita. Okay? So theme lang yon. Paano po matiyak ang quality education sa distance learning? Salamat po. Ito po atin is blended learning. Okay? Iba ho yata ang distance learning. So kung sa blended learning, kaya nga sabi ko, importante yung content at saka the way you deliver. But for distance learning, Sir Jed?
Well, maraming forms of distance learning, like yung sa modular po, at saka yung either through Facebook para sa walang gadget, and then merong blended, and then may online. So, yung sa quality po, actually, ganito po yan. Hindi po natin masasagot lahat yan, kasi first time natin eh. First time ng school, first time ng government, ng DepEd, saka CHED, saka first time ng students and parents. But yung quality po, ang masasabi ko lang dyan, kayo pong teacher, malalaman nyo po kung talagang binuhos nyo yung quality sa ginagawa nyong materials, whether asynchronous or synchronous. Magre-rely na po tayo sa puso nyo na kung talagang ginawa nyo lahat para matuto yung student. And para sa akin po, kung sa tingin nyo, ginawa nyo lahat para matuto yung student, you did your best, you did your research, then you and put it all in your material, I think the quality will be good.
Okay, how do you deal with students with individual differences in online learning? Individual differences in terms of personality, example kung special siya or slow learner. Like kagaya nga, I have said, this sem meron akong isang special na So, di ba sinasabi ko sa'yo, every time sinasabi ko, you have to give respect. So, hindi man lang pinapansin yung mga ganon. Plus, you say na you have to give respect, and siyempre iba yung pagtrato mo pag special child. Also, pag mabagal, if they ask your help or if you think na nababagalan sila or may problema, di mag one-on-one ka. Okay? Hindi naman palaging one-on-one, pero you're gonna be there. Salamat po. Okay. Thank you. Pwede bang mag-enroll private jets heroes teaching sa NCR din? Sir Jet,
Baka private teachers.
Teachers.
Don't worry, magkakaroon po tayo ng program for private teachers. Actually, sa EduRescue.org po, yung sa organization namin as part of Heroes. Pwede po kayong pumunta doon. May mga free courses kami for teachers and parents, actually. So, but magkakaroon rin po kami dito sa Heroes.
Okay, how about yung mga bata na walang parents or guardians na ang mga parents ay naghahanap buhay dahil without everyday income, sila ay umaasa para sa lahat ng pangangailangan nila sa buhay. Kaya sa akin, dapat guided sila, dapat meron silang assessment, regular assessment para alam mo na umaandar sila. Okay?
Miss Suzanne, please
Yes.
choose your last question na po.
What is my last question? Dito?
Please choose your last two questions, ma'am. Sige.
Last two questions.
Yes.
Madam, what is the best for the teachers to use, synchronous or asynchronous? Sabi ko last Saturday, 70% asynchronous because of the times and 30% synchronous. Kasi nga hindi na tayo ngayon yung learners, hindi na tayo yung nagle-lecture eh. Tayo nasa coach na tayo. Ganon. How about the students with different learning styles? As I've said, you have to coach them, okay? You have to give them time to coach. Then, a lot of parents are, plus yung mga strategies mo, may simple, may hindi, yung mga ganon. A lot of parents are still in doubt on the transition to online learning. How can I sales pitch online learning to parents? Thank you. Ayan, si Sir Jed, magaling mag-pitch online learning.
Good question from Sir Nolan. Here's the thing po, and then I think this is a good closing na rin for a last question. Here's the thing, dito po sa online learning, hindi po pwedeng tayo lang mga school at mga teachers ang go, go, go. Kailangan po ang student and also especially the parents po. Now, knowing that tayo ina-educate natin yung sarili natin about online learning at saka flexible learning, nakikita natin effective siya. However, yung parents po, wala pong nag-educate sa kanila. That's why po kami sa yung isang course na tinake nyo po inside Heroes, ang tawag mo doon yung PUGOL, Parents Ultimate Guide to Online Learning. Actually, may course po yan na separate just for parents. Nasa edurescue.org po siya. Ang pangalan niya, Parents Ultimate Guide for Online Learning. Free po to. Kung meron po kayong parent na nagda-doubt about online learning, pwede po siya, ituro nyo lang po doon, pwede po siya mag-enroll at ine-explain po namin doon kung ano ang online learning, ano yung definition, and how it will benefit the students and the education system. So, PUGOL 101 po ang pangalan sa edurescue.org.
Okay, so any more, Lay? Wala na?
Ma'am, I'll just put this question from FB. In your experience, what do you think is the most convenient or recommendable time schedule for online learning?
Time schedule.
Yes.
For me, actually, it depends on my time. Pero usually it's in the morning. Depende lang, you have to think, depende kung sino yung estudyante mo. Okay? Kasi kung depende, kung estudyante mo ay nagtutulong sa nanay, di wag muna sa 11 to 12. Yung mga ganon, you have to know your students. You know your target market well.
There's another last question na po talaga. Paano po yung mga magulang na no read, no write? Paano daw nila matutulungan ng kanilang mga anak? Any suggestions, Sir Jed and Mrs. Zan?
Sir Jed.
That's a good question. And actually, that's just sa magulang, but also sa students. Paano yung student, kunyari, may nakikita ko na visually impaired, hearing impaired. Now, sana ito po makuha nyo dito sa lahat ng workshop na ginagawa natin dito about online learning is that ang maganda sa online learning or sa flexible learning, maraming approach. Pwedeng audio-based, pwedeng text-based, pwedeng audio and video-based. Pwede pa nga para sa mga hearing impaired, may sign language, katulad ng ginagawa ni Ma'am Suzanne kanina, nagsa-sign language na siya. But seriously, yan po ang kagandahan ng online sa flexible learning. Maraming different approach. And trabaho nyo po yan bilang teacher kung paano nyo i-adjust yung approach nyo based dun sa audience or yung sa student nyo. Yung question dun sa parent, I think you're assuming na yung parent ang magtuturo. When it comes to online learning sa flexible learning, the parent is more support and a guide to the students. Ang magtuturo pa rin po is the teacher. Yung homeschooling po, yan yung tinatawag na homeschooling, dyan po yung parent ang teacher. But sa online sa flexible learning or home-based learning, teacher pa rin po magtuturo, guide po and inspiration and support pa rin ang parent.
Thank you, Mrs. Zan and Sir Jed. We still have a lot of questions, but we are really pressed for time. Any last reminders or thoughts po before we close?
For me, wag lang kayo, as I've said before, wag lang kayong matatakot to start. Okay? Lahat, the expert, naging beginner din siya. Ako, naging beginner din siya. Eng-eng ako noon. Ngayon, hindi na eng-eng-eng-ong. So what I'm saying is, alam ko na, okay, magturo, alam ko na mag-navigate, though I'm not still an expert, okay, so wag lang kayo matakot and be open, okay, maraming strategies, you have to be ang tip ko lang talaga, be very creative at wag kayo, try to experiment, be a risk taker. So yun lang. And yeah, okay, so pag may questions, then you can just put it there and siguro we could answer.
Actually, sa mga questions and you still have things, you can just go to heroes2021.org and post your questions dun sa course. Or you can go to the EduRescue School for Teachers Facebook group. You can post your questions there. Doon rin namin dinalagay activities for Heroes. Kasi we want to answer your questions and we want to help you. So dun po, punta lang po kayo sa heroes2021.org. Thank you po.
Okay. So thank you po sa lahat na nandito sa Zoom and sa Facebook. Sana po marami kayo natutunan dito sa webinar as well as dun sa Heroes. I'm sure maraming kayo natutunan. Okay, so maraming po salamat.
Ingat po tayo lahat.
Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, Sir
Bye,
Jed, partner.
Bye. See you.
See you.